Hi everyone, this is Christopher. I just completed a 13,841-mile epic road trip across North America where I visited 65 temples of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the highlights. Before we dive in though, here's the map, showing in purple all the temples that I visited. So let's hit the road. I began this journey by taking short day trips from my home in Saline, Michigan, the United States, to temples nearby. First stop, Detroit, the Motor City, where even my GPS started humming Motown classics. I packed 3 drone batteries, but forgot my phone charger. Priorities. Temple 1 checked off, back home to Saline. Next up, Chicago. Yes, the pizza's legendary, but the temple was the highlight of my trip. Crossing into Illinois felt like a red carpet event, minus the paparazzi. Temple 2 done, snack supply already suspiciously low. Indianapolis roads made my car think that we were signed up for the Indy 500, and meanwhile, my GPS thought detouring through cornfields was, quote, efficient. Well, Temple 3 done, back to Saline for a pit stop. Columbus was beautiful, though my GPS tried sending me to the football stadium instead. Trail mix, crime scene in the back seat. Who ate it all? Oh, right, me. Temple 4 down, snack bag empty. Again. Next, I visited 2 temples in one day. First up, Pittsburgh, the city of bridges, and after bridge number 47, my car asked for a raise. The temple was peaceful, the GPS, not so much. Recalculating became its favorite word. Temple 5 check, and one more today. After Pittsburgh, I was headed to the Kirtland, Ohio temple. Historic Kirtland. My GPS almost sent me to a random barn, but I made it. I learned a ton about church history, and about how bad I am at packing snacks for 2 stops. 2 temples down, 1 day. Back to Saline victorious. Next up, Toronto. International adventure. I got to practice my Canadian accent at the border. They weren't impressed, eh? In the past, I've never been interrogated at the border, but when I told the border agent I was going all the way to Toronto for a few hours to attend the temple and then coming back home the same day, he didn't seem to believe me. Until I got out my phone, showed him my YouTube channel, and then he immediately waved me through. Yes, you got it. My YouTube channel saved me. The temple was stunning, and even the geese looked polite. Temple 7 down, came home with maple syrup I didn't need. Up to this point, I had been taking day trips, always returning home, but this was the next stage of the big adventure. I headed to Nashville to visit family with a stop in Louisville, Kentucky along the way. Louisville greeted me with horse statues and bourbon ads. I stuck with the root beer. The temple, beautiful. My car, already begging for a vacation from the vacation. Temple 8 onward. I made it to my family in Nashville, but I went to the temple a few days later when I returned. For now, it's onward to Atlanta and that humid southern heat. Driving in Atlanta traffic was like playing Mario Kart on expert mode. The temple, though, was pure serenity in the chaos. Temple 9 down, snack count still 0. Birmingham, Alabama welcomed me with southern hospitality and about 100 billboards. The temple was a peaceful contrast to all the barbecue ads. Temple 10, let's roll. I returned to Nashville, and even my GPS sang country, off-key but heartfelt. Temple visit spiritual, 102 degrees outside. My snack stop, dangerously close to becoming a full concert review. Temple 11 down. Memphis. I didn't board a plane, it wasn't pouring rain, but I did listen to Mark Cohen sing Walking in Memphis while I drove across the Mississippi River. The temple visit was a highlight, but sadly, there were no fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches there. Temple 12 complete. I got to visit my son Nathan in Conway, Arkansas. He is getting his master's degree at the University of Central Arkansas to be a dietitian. Nathan told his roommate, Braden, about how lucky I am when we play games. Braden and Nathan wanted to play Farkle to test my luck. I understood the assignment. I couldn't let Nathan down and make him look bad to his friend, so I had to somehow win at a dice game where the rolls are random. But don't worry, mission accomplished. The first game was close for a while, but I won by 1,800 points. They demanded a rematch, and I proceeded to blow them away. I won the second game by more than 9,000 points, cementing my legacy, and most importantly, I didn't let Nathan down. Bentonville. The temple was beautiful, and for once my GPS didn't betray me. Temple 13 down, feeling strong. Crossing into Oklahoma, I won a Grammy singing karaoke in my car. Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plains. Hey, I grew up in Oklahoma. I know all the words to that song. I also got to see my longtime friend and my former BYU roommate, Joel Bully. I had a great time. The temple visit recharged me more than any gas station energy drink ever could. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the traffic. 3 things I love about Texas: quick trip gas stations, Taco Bueno, and Brahms ice cream. If you know, you know. I got to catch up some with JT Upshaw, my missionary friend, who 25 years ago accompanied me on an epic road trip for a month in Bolivia when we were missionaries there. The temple, peaceful oasis in the chaos of freeways. Temple 15 complete. Yeehaw! I grew up in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and I made a stop there to visit Stephen and Alicia Bully and their family. Stephen and I have been friends since I was 10 years old. If I had to pick just one thing that I enjoyed the most about visiting Stephen and Alicia, it would be listening to their daughter Jillian's experiences about when she was served as a missionary in Portugal. She had some awesome stories. Kansas City barbecue tempted me, but the temple filled me up better. I stayed at my brother Adam's place, and I got to catch up with my good friend Jeff Runyon. Temple 16 down. Winter quarters. So much church history here. My car took this one personally. So many pioneer vibes, it thought it was a handcart. Temple 17. St. Louis, the Gateway Arch. But I was more impressed by the temple. Snack review. Gas station churros, 1 star. Stick with the trail mix. Temple 18 and moving on. Nauvoo, Illinois. Beautiful temple with deep history. A picturesque sunset made for an incredible short film. You should check it out. You'll thank me later. Even my GPS got reverent here. It stopped rerouting for 5 whole minutes. Temple 19 down and back home to Saline to regroup. At this point, I realized I had great footage, like you're seeing on the screen now of the Nauvoo, Illinois temple, but I would run out of new videos to release sometime in the middle of winter. I prefer to film when everything is blooming and green. I decided to continue my epic temple trip by visiting an additional 46 temples, doing sessions along the way, and filming all of them. So I headed out again. St. Paul greeted me with birds. Hey, wait a minute. Those aren't birds. They are mosquitoes. The temple was a gem. The flowers and plants here are the most beautiful I've seen at a small temple. Temple 20 down. Next was Bismarck, North Dakota, where the wind has personality and the sky feels endless. I stopped for gas and was offered bison jerky. I didn't know whether to eat it or frame it. Temple 21 complete. Back to the highway. Next adventure ahead. Billings, Montana Temple. Big sky country did not disappoint. Even my drone felt small here. I saw a sign claiming free cowboy lessons. I didn't stop though, because I didn't bring my hat. Temple 22 checked. Rolling west like tumbleweed. I made it to Helena, Montana, and my GPS said searching for signal, like it was giving up on life or something. The temple though was worth every mile. I got there early in the morning and saw it at sunrise, and I experienced a small miracle here. Temple 23 down. Montana was done, and it was time to head towards Idaho. I decided to take Highway 287 because it's a more scenic route, and it was totally worth it. On my way to Rexburg, I crossed into Idaho, and immediately I saw a potato-shaped water tower. I felt spiritually nourished. The Rexburg temple shone against the sky like it knew I hadn't eaten enough vegetables this trip. Although the temple was closed for maintenance, it was beautiful outside and I really enjoyed the grounds. It's just a short drive to Idaho Falls, where there's a temple right by the river. It's stunning. Meanwhile, my GPS tried to baptize itself in the Snake River. Temple 25. Pocatello, Idaho, where every mountain view looks like a desktop wallpaper. I bought a local huckleberry shake, and immediately I decided I wanted to retire here. Temple 26 down, still chasing sunsets and snacks. Logan's temple looks like a castle. My GPS actually said, approaching fortress. The sunset provided the perfect backdrop for my drone shots. You're going to love the video of the Logan temple. Snack review. Gas station donuts. 2.5 stars. They were just too mysterious. Temple 27 down. Brigham City, Utah temple. White, elegant, and right by the mountains. I was here on Thursday, September 4th. And there were people lined up on the street with blankets waiting to claim a spot for a parade that was happening on Saturday 2 days later. It must be a popular parade. What parade were they talking about? They seemed really excited for it. My car thought we were climbing Mount Everest, and we weren't. Temple 28 complete. The Ogden temple glows like a jewel downtown. I tried to match it, but my car was covered in dust. After I visited the temple, I ate some peach pie that I bought in Brigham City. Temple 29 complete, cruising onward with a full heart and an empty snack bag. Next up was Syracuse. Not New York and not Italy, but Utah. The temple there is new and gorgeous. The GPS kept asking me if I meant Syracuse, Italy. Temple 30, done. Layton's temple looks amazing with the mountains behind it. Meanwhile, I look amazing after 4 straight gas station hot dogs. Temple 31 done. Next, I drove to Twin Falls, Idaho, where I spent the next couple of days with one of my missionary companions, Justin Hyder, and his wife Angela. They are awesome. We went to a Boise State football game, and we watched a College of Southern Idaho women's volleyball game. The Twin Falls Temple has waterfalls nearby. My GPS asked if I wanted to swim to destination. No thank you. Temple 32 down. Hey everybody, it's Christopher. I need your help. So in order to continue making these videos, I'm looking to add a few patrons. So let's get out your cameras and go to this QR code where it'll take you to Patreon where you can donate. And the plans start at just $5. My patrons get special access to my content, and you also get recognition in the credits. So thank you, and now let's get back to the end of this video so that we can see how the tour and this epic temple trip ends. Next up is the Meridian, Idaho temple. It was bright, calm, and full of friendly smiles. Meanwhile, I stopped at a bakery that had cinnamon rolls the size of my steering wheel. Temple 33 done, refilled on sugar and the spirit. Boise, Idaho, the state capital, and a beautiful temple. I want to give a gas station review. Boise has the fanciest bathrooms. 5 stars, definitely. Temple 34, down. After the football game was over, it was back to Twin Falls to spend the night before heading on. The Burley, Idaho temple is complete, but they are about to start the open house and tours are about to begin. It's a beautiful temple. Burley also wins an award for the most cows that stared at me while I drove into town. Temple 35 done. As I left Idaho for the last time and headed back into Utah, I got to visit the Bountiful Utah Temple. The temple is gorgeous. It's on the side of the mountain and it shines over the entire valley. Of all the 65 temples I visited on this trip, I think Bountiful is the prettiest, and it's definitely my favorite. Next up is Taylorsville, Utah. It's a new temple and it looks amazing. My GPS said, turn right at Chick-fil-A. Not wrong technically. Temple 37 complete. The Deseret Peak Temple is stunning with a mountain backdrop, and I may have pronounced Tooele wrong 17 times, but the locals were still polite, and don't worry, I got corrected a few days later when I visited some of my friends from Broken Arrow when they explained the correct way to pronounce Tooele. Meanwhile, the pergola outside makes for some incredible drone shots and pictures at that temple. Temple 38 complete. Oquirrh Mountain. Yes, I had to have my friends correct my pronunciation on this one too. There was a small downpour, and so I had to wait about 30 minutes to film. Meanwhile, I drove around several neighborhoods nearby, and it is picturesque. Honestly, I want to live here someday. Meanwhile, my rear view wiper decided to stop working. Perfect timing for that downpour. Temple 39, done. That evening, I had a wonderful time visiting one of my friends, Tyler Anderson, who served with me as a missionary in Cochabamba, Bolivia. The Jordan River Temple felt like a familiar friend, and I found a nearby gas station that sold the best homemade cookies. I bought 4. You know, for balance. Temple 40 checked off. Snack supply temporarily restored. The Draper, Utah Temple sits right against the mountains, like it's keeping watch over the valley. And my GPS said, scenic route ahead. I think it meant 20 extra miles, so sometimes you have to ignore your GPS. Temple 41 done, and still flying high. The Saratoga Springs Temple is modern and sleek, and on my way there the GPS said, turn left at the chapel ahead. Wait a minute. I can see 5 chapels on this same road up ahead. Which one am I supposed to turn left at? That doesn't really narrow it down. Meanwhile, I arrived and Temple 42 complete. Next up is the Mount Timpanogos Temple, and it is majestic. Meanwhile, my snacks were also in progress. Where? Into my stomach. Temple 43 complete. The Lindon Temple is up next, and it was almost complete with the construction. It seemed like everything was done except for a few minor touches, so I wasn't able to do a session inside, but I got some great pictures, and I loved visiting here. It has a special charm, and it really made me slow down. I mean, literally, I missed my turn. Orem, Utah. The temple there is beautifully modern and perfectly placed near my new favorite sandwich shop. The lady there said she watches the temple lights every night. It's gotta be pretty. Temple 45 complete, sandwich blessed, and my spirit was fed. The Provo City Center Temple was rebuilt from fire. I mean, literally. The temple is stunning inside and out. Being back in Provo meant I blended right in, if you count being 20 years older as blending. Temple 46 complete. I had extra time, so I hiked up Rock Canyon near Provo. I enjoyed 2 things. First, the sunset over the mountains on the other side of the valley was exactly what I thought it would be. Beautiful. Second, as darkness descended, it was majestic to watch the valley seem to come to life as the lights from thousands of houses and streetlights turned on. It was beautiful. Next up was Payson, Utah. Payson feels like the perfect small town. Quiet streets, but big faith. I stopped for a burger that came with a handshake from the chef. Now that's service. Temple 47 checked off. Next gear, next stop. Next I headed to Orem, Utah, and I visited the temple there, but it's still under construction, although it's nearly complete. Orem is nestled in the mountains. It felt peaceful and personal. I tried to film sheep in the distance. They tried to film me back. It was a fair trade, I guess. Temple 48 complete and heading just a few miles down the road to Manti. The Manti Temple has been on my bucket list for a long time, and honestly, it looks like a castle on the side of a hill. So, Temple 49 complete. I loved doing a session here. You should check out my video of the Manti Temple. I know you'll love it. When I was done at the Manti Temple, I drove back to Provo, where I had a get-together at Brick Oven Pizza with some of my friends from Oklahoma that now live in Utah. I learned the correct way to pronounce Tooele and the correct way to pronounce Oquirrh Mountain. Seriously though, I had a blast, and I love those people. We had a really fun time, and it was great getting to see them again. It was time to hit the road, and I headed to Cedar City, Utah. Red rocks and sunshine. I could have stayed all day. A tumbleweed crossed my path dramatically, and I took it as applause. Temple 50 complete. Historic and bright, the St. George Temple feels timeless. I found a cactus that looked like it was waving at me. I waved back, but respectfully. Temple 51 done. Desert Drive continues just a few miles away to the Red Cliffs, Utah Temple. Brand new and brilliant against the red desert stone. I took a wrong turn and ended up at a dinosaur museum. I'm not complaining, it's just letting you know what happened. Temple 52 complete, and back to modern times. After St. George, I drove to Las Vegas, Nevada. The temple there is bright in the City of Lights. Here's a fun fact. I loved getting to watch the show Cirque du Soleil, named O, and I saw the outdoor water show at the Bellagio. I'm noticing a water theme here. Temple 53, complete. Phoenix, Arizona was 110 degrees and counting, and even my shadow tried to find the shade. Meanwhile, I became a rotisserie chicken in all of the heat. Temple 54, complete. The Mesa Temple has incredible grounds. Snack report, water. Just water. That's the rule in the desert. It was 106 degrees outside, and even though it wasn't quite as hot as it was in Phoenix, it was still sweltering. Temple 55 done, and I'm still standing somehow. After Mesa, I headed a few miles to the north to go have dinner with one of my missionary companions from Bolivia, Lee Kimball and his family. They shared stories with me, and miracles that they've experienced. It strengthened my faith listening to them. The Gilbert, Arizona temple glows like it's lit from within, and I parked in the wrong lot and accidentally joined a wedding photo. I'm just kidding, people, I wouldn't do that. But anyway, congrats to the happy couple. Temple 56 complete, and back to the open desert as I head south towards the Mexico border. The Tucson Temple has saguaro cacti nearby. So, Arizona. Snack review, prickly pear soda. It's weird, but it's tasty. Temple 57 complete and heading on towards Gila Valley. The Gila Valley, Arizona temple is small but peaceful, and I stopped at a diner that served breakfast all day. Temple 58 complete, moving on, and happily overfed. The Snowflake Temple. It's a small town, but has big spirit. There was no snow and there were no flakes. False advertising, if you ask me. However, the temple was stunning, and it's literally right next to a golf course. Temple 59 complete. The Albuquerque, New Mexico temple gives off desert vibes. The colors here are beautiful, as is the temple and the grounds. I really enjoyed my visit at this temple. Temple 60 complete. The Farmington, New Mexico temple was just dedicated shortly before I arrived, and Farmington has that small town warmth that you just can't fake. I found some fry bread that was so good I briefly forgot my itinerary. Temple 61 done, and smiling all the way on to the next temple. The Monticello, Utah temple is the very first of the smaller style temples to be built. It might be small, but it's mighty in spirit. The sunset was beautiful, and it created some wonderful and spectacular drone shots. I think you'll love it. The Grand Junction, Colorado was having its open house, ongoing, when I visited, and Grand Junction's red cliffs are cinematic in almost every direction. My GPS lost signal in the canyon and just said, "Good luck." Temple 63 complete, still alive, still rolling, moving east towards Denver. As I left Grand Junction, Colorado, and I headed east towards Denver, I decided to take Interstate 70, where I reached a maximum elevation of 11,158 feet, which is over 3,401 meters. That's the highest point on my entire trip. Denver was spectacular. The Mile High Temple, as they sometimes call it, lives up to its name, both literally and spiritually. And I had a wonderful time here. The sunset cooperated, and when nature does her thing, you just have to bask in the awe. So watch this video and you'll really enjoy the Denver Temple. You'll thank me for it later. Temple 64 complete, just one more to go. I got to spend the evening with one of my missionary companions from Bolivia, Brian Curtis, and his wife, Risha. It was like the Book of Alma, chapter 17, verse 2. If you know, you know. The Fort Collins Temple was a perfect finale. The temple is peaceful, elegant, and unforgettable. I stopped at a sunflower field nearby and just let the moment sink in. Temple 65 done, mission accomplished. It's time to head home to Celine. Many of you have asked me, so what's next? What's going to happen after this? So let me answer that. 3 things. First, I am releasing new short films every week. A lot of the temples that you saw in this video, I have not released the short films for those yet, but I will be, so that's another reason to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned because you'll get to see those. Okay, second, I would like to go on an expedition in spring of 2026 where basically I will drive up the eastern seaboard of the United States, starting in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, heading north towards Halifax, Nova Scotia in Canada, and then heading back west towards Michigan, towards home, with stops in Montreal and Palmyra, New York. Of course, I'll do a session at each temple and I'll film them, and that's going to cost quite a bit, so here's where I could use your help. On the screen and in this description below, there is a link to my Patreon, and you can become a patron and donate, and that will help make this expedition possible. So I want to say thank you to all of those who choose to become a patron. Your support really means a lot to me. And the third thing I would like to do is I'd like to do another expedition, but this time down the western coast of the United States and North America. I'd like to start in Canada, up in Vancouver, British Columbia, and head my way south from there, visiting all of the temples in Washington State, Oregon, and California, also stopping in Reno, Nevada. If you live in one of those states and you'd love to see videos and short films like I show here on my channel of your temple, then please consider becoming a patron. Well, thank you everybody who's stayed to the end. This video, it was really just the highlights of the trip. I have a lot more that I could say and tell about it, and I tried to keep it as short as possible, but as you can imagine, even when you spend 10 to 15 seconds per temple, the time really adds up, especially when there's 65 of them.